I came across this book the other day and I thought I would do a review on it for the purpose of asking you, would you buy this book for your child? And it caught my attention because it's obviously about Adam and Eve. Well, in fact, here it says Eve and Adam. So we're going to take a look, or I'm going to take a look at this book through the eyes of Scripture, and I want to judge it on its accuracy to Scripture. I think far too many people these days just make changes to biblical accounts and they don't bother checking the original source. And so, in a sense, they're saying I can make this story whatever I want it to be to fit whatever purpose I want it to fit. So let's see how this book does in that regard. All right, so I'm going to open this up here, and the illustrations are okay. Adam and Eve in their very first day. All right, so I'm not trying to be critical for I'm not trying to unnecessarily rip people apart or anything, but I think that there's some value in taking a look at this particular book. All right, so page number 1, it was Eve's first day in the Garden of Eden. Actually, it was her first day anywhere. Since she was newly created, God had made her wonderfully well. Eve was not afraid of anything. So the first observation is that this book is focused on Eve. And out of the two, Adam and Eve, they both have their place. They're both equal before God, but different roles. Okay, so let's make that a sure thing right up front. So I'm not trying to mistreat anybody here, but let's look at this through biblical eyes. All right, so this focus is on Eve, which again is not bad, but I think that gets taken a little bit too far. She was not afraid of the wild green tangle of the garden, not afraid of the tall leafy trees soaring up into the sky, not afraid of the vivid rainbow-colored flowers growing all around her, their sweet scents perfuming the air. Okay, well, at least her hair gives her some modesty in this picture, and so far nothing wrong with the illustrations for the most part. Not afraid of the brilliant ball of yellow burning above her, not afraid of the fantastic creatures leaping, crawling, climbing, flying anywhere. All right, so I'd make an observation here that, again, many Garden of Eden books and that sort of thing tend to draw modern animals, which I get it. Those are the ones we recognize, but the animals in the Garden of Eden would not have been like the ones that we have today. And there's a bunch of creatures here. At least there's no representatives of any of the extinct animals like dinosaurs and that sort of thing. So I think that's something that's missing. But as far as I know, this is a secular type book. And she was definitely not afraid of the friendly-looking two-legged creature standing right beside her. So we look over here, and there's this guy with a strategically placed leaf, which I'm thankful for. He called himself Adam. Well, he called himself Adam because God named him Adam. All right, so let's see what place Adam has in this book. So there they are, and they look like they're having fun. I like that they're middle brownish, so they're not light-skinned like many Adam and Eve's look, so I'll give them some points for that. They seem young, though, so I'm not quite sure about that. Personally, I like to draw them a little more adult-looking because I think that they were fully adult when they were created. And my personal take on Adam would be that he should have facial hair, too, so that's the way that I tend to draw Adam. Although in my beginning, my art career, I didn't do that either. So, all right. So Adam had a beautiful smile. He and Eve walked through the garden together, giving a name to each thing they saw. Oak, said Adam. Cat, dog, ant. Pretty boring, Eve thought. She'd help Adam work through his imagination later. All right. There's a problem here. If you look in the biblical account, before Eve is around, God gives Adam the task of naming the animals. So he did that before Eve was around. And here we have a problem with who's the leader and who is not. Now, I know Eve was given as a helpmeet for Adam, so I don't want to take away any functionality and any benefit and any help that she would provide, but she seems to be pretty critical throughout this book of Adam. Like, Adam's this dull, boring guy, and she's got all the spice and color and flair in life. And so she's correcting him right away, kind of a feature of our current world. And I think that's a danger in this book, and I'll point out a few more of those instances in a little bit, that we tend to inflict our world as it is now and the problems and things in it on the world that God made very good, that we don't understand what that is. I mean, I don't know what's like to live in a perfect world. None of us do. And so making a children's book in this regard to make it relatable, I understand you want things to be relatable, but don't take this world and throw its garbage into the perfect world that God had made and then try to help people think about that world in that context. That's not helpful. All right, so turn the page here. And maybe it was because Adam had been first. Okay, well, Adam did come first, so that's good. Eve came second, and well, practice makes perfect. Oh, there's a little knock against Adam again. So God didn't quite get it right the first time. He made a better person, a better creation the second time with Eve. All right, little subtle thing there, but it's one of those things that we need to watch out for. Okay, maybe not perfect, but she thought modestly. Nightingale. Let me read that again. Okay, maybe not perfect, she thought modestly. Nightingale, she offered aloud. Weeping willow, bumblebee, nine-banded armadillo. She touched something red and bumpy with a green hat on top. Strawberry, she added. You're really good at this, said Adam, smiling. Thank you, said Eve. She liked that Adam was not only beautiful, but also kind. Well, he was kind in supporting her in her leadership here as she's kind of taken over. So, again, that's my opinion of what is happening here. And all right, so next page. Drip, something wet fell on Eve's nose. Drip, on Adam's head, on Eve's arm, on Adam's toes. Drip, drip, drip. What was it? Adam looked up. Rain, he decided. It's falling from that gray shape in the sky. All right, so here we have some rain in the Garden of Eden. Now, I know there's a bit of a controversy. People look at the scriptures and say, well, it says that the garden was watered kind of like an automatic system, that it didn't talk about rain. And there's articles that I would challenge you to look up. Say, go to Answers in Genesis and search for rain in the Garden of Eden or something like that. And you can find some articles on that particular issue. I don't think there's any problem with there being rain in the Garden of Eden. All right, the rain fell faster. There was a booming noise and a bright flash. Thunder, Eve suggested. It's lightning. Adam looked concerned. It's loud. Do you think it's safe? Okay, again, here, Adam is going to Eve looking for comfort and leadership and what should I do type of thing. That came into play in real history later on, and it got the whole world in trouble. So just think about that. Eve was not afraid. I don't think we should worry, she said. Whatever happens, we have God. We have each other. It will be all right. Right, do you see the problem here? God created this world very good. This is before sin. There should be no fear in this context. In a perfect world, there is nothing to be afraid of. And here, they're building our current world, the way things are, into that perfect world. And so we're polluting the idea of what God's perfect creation was like. All right. As it was, the rain stopped and the yellow ball appeared again. It stretched its warmth and light over the garden. All right, so here we have a nice, garden paradise type scene. Very nice and friendly. Adam breathed deeply. It will be all right, he reminded himself. He looked at the yellow ball carefully. Sun, he asked. And sunbeams? Nice choices, replied Eve. So, again, I think she kind of looks like the final authority here on that's the way it should be, and Adam's looking to her for approval when Adam is supposed to be the leader of the relationship. And he was the one, don't forget, that after sin, God never says, Eve, it's your fault. Adam is the one that's given blame for the fall of creation and the fall of mankind, because he was the leader. So sometimes when I go to audiences and I speak about this, I tell the ladies, I said, ladies, would you like Eve to be given responsibility for that? No. They say, no, I don't want that. Adam is the one that was the leader. He was the one that was responsible. So this book fails in that regard, as showing Adam as leader. Even Adam, again, that's how they position this, even Adam discovered new miracles all day long. The Garden of Eden was spectacular. All right, so nothing wrong with that. Now they've got a spider web here. I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily, but I don't think the spiders back then functioned the way that they do these days. Some spiders these days catch pollen and seeds and things with their spider webs, and not bugs. So very, very interesting how things operated back in the Garden of Eden versus how they do now. This is the best day ever, said Eve. Adam had to agree. The first and the best. Well, the first of their existence. So this would be, probably day 6, day 7. I'm not sure which they're talking about. Got a peacock. I got some mushrooms. They're eating strawberries. Everything's very nice. Until the sun started to drop. Adam noticed first. Eve, he told her nervously, pointing upward, the sun is falling down. Surely not, replied Eve. You must be imagining it. Okay, so again, there's anxiety in this perfect place. So that's not right. And then again, Adam is going to Eve, and she's telling him, your mind is bad. You're imagining things. But he wasn't imagining it. The sun dropped down and completely disappeared. All right, so what's going to happen here? So here they are in the sunset. The garden was as black as ink, if anyone had known what ink was. Eve and Adam couldn't see a thing, not even each other. Let's hold hands, suggested Eve. Again, she's leading there. Then we'll know the other is still here. Adam's hand was a little bit sweaty. He was scared. But Eve wasn't afraid. Okay, so she's the bold leader, and Adam is the scaredy guy, I guess. We will face whatever this is together, she said. It will be all right. Again, it's showing Eve as the leader. Still, it was very dark for a very, very, very long time. It will be all right, Eve said again. Her voice sounded a little nervous. Eve wondered and worried. Adam shook and shivered. So they're both afraid in this perfect place. Now, something else to keep in mind too. Creation at the end will be done away with, and then things will be restored. And when we talk about heaven and the perfect world, do you imagine there being fear and anxiety in heaven? Well, things are going to be restored to the way that they were. So according to this book, then there should be fear and anxiety in heaven. Think about that. All right, so here we have a nice kind of a heavenly scene with the sparkles and stuff here. It's a Eden scene, of course, but then two amazing things happened. First, thousands of tiny blinking lights appeared all around them. Second, thousands of tiny sparkles appeared in the sky high above them. The sun has broken into millions of pieces, cried Adam in a panic. What will become of us? Again, fear. Eve had a different idea. I don't think so. So again, Adam is the fearful one. Eve is the solid, this is the way it is type of thing. Very feministic, I think, in the attitude of this book. I don't think so, she said. I think these fireflies and those stars are a sign from God. I think God is reminding us that you are not alone, have faith. So she's the spiritual leader here, interpreting the circumstance and giving some sort of spiritual significance to it. So Eve and Adam kept hold of their faith. They kept hold of each other's hands. They fell fast asleep in the sweetly scented garden. Again, this looks very nice and friendly, but for someone that doesn't know Scripture and would buy this for their children, I think that there's a lot of misinformation communicated here and a lot of ideas from our current world that are being inflicted upon kids with through the vehicle of some biblical imagery. So again, something to be cautious about. And when they woke up, a new day had begun, a second day, ordinary and miraculous. The sun shone, the birds sang, flowers opened and leaves unfurled. And even Adam saw that it was good. So it was good in terms of our understanding of good. It was not that bad, but think of all the fear and the anxiety and the fright and the unsureness and all that stuff. I don't think that book communicates biblical things that are important very well. And so there's a final message here. I won't read that. You can pause the screen and take a look at that and see what the intent of the author is here. But I don't think it really is to communicate biblical truth. And I would give this book a number of red flags. Again, it looks nice. It's a children's book, so people think, well, what damage can a children's book do? I would say a lot of damage. And there's ideas here that need to be corrected and dealt with. So this book does not get a positive mark in my book, and I would encourage you to share this video. And I hope that it's caused you to maybe be a little more critical about some of the books that you look at in the future. So if you like this video, please give it a like and share, and thank you for watching.